19 years ago today, Western New Yorkers woke up to a scene they'll, quite frankly, never forget. The October surprise storm started as lake effect rain the night before, and things started to change over around 9 o'clock at night. And then it just went from bad to worse, with the storm dumping nearly 20 inches of heavy, wet snow that brought down trees and power lines. Left thousands without power for weeks.
Now, while that storm destroyed tens of thousands of trees across the region, it also sparked a long-term recovery effort. That's where RETREE comes in. To talk more about the effort to restore Buffalo's tree canopy, right now we are joined by RETREE's founder, Paul Maurer. Paul, thank you so much for coming in this evening.
Great to be here, Jordan.
All right, before we talk about RETREE's mission, right? Sure. Tell us a little bit, take us back 19 years ago. What was your account of that surprise storm?
Well, what happened was I was on my way home from work. I worked at a radio station, and it was just coming down rain, as you said. And as I got down this transit road, I thought, this is really changing pretty quickly. And it just started piling up. And right after that, power started to go out. I saw the arcing of the lines, the power lines, a lot of blue flashes. And then our power went out, so did about at least half your viewing area lost.
Exactly.
A lot of people.
Paul, we're going to talk about the incredible efforts that you and your team have put in over the past nearly 2 decades in just a bit. But did you know at that time, or maybe even in the days and maybe weeks after, that there would have to be a massive decades-long effort? Did you know then? Did it come into focus then, or was it kind of something that...
No, obviously when you hit 20-something inches of snow that early, and the trees were still holding onto their leaves, which was the problem, real big problem. So it caused a problem with the power lines going down. And we actually went out, I was with, again, a radio station with 97 Rock, and we went out just to give the power crews help by way of refreshments. They were from all over the Northeast already. This was a few days after, and I saw the devastation, and I thought, really, there's no drawer of cash that has that, in it, that anybody could really ramp up that quickly, any municipality. So we met at our radio station, and we just decided we're going to do it, and we started the April after that, and we've been going for almost 19 years.
That's amazing.
Let me ask you, why is it so important to restore these trees, right?
Well, yeah, actually a lot of them were near the end of their life stage.
Sure.
So this may have been in some ways a good thing if you look back on that, because now what we're putting in instead are better trees, variety. There was no variety back then. It was all the same trees, a lot of silver maples, and they were prone to losing their life just because it was late in the game. So after 50 or 60 years, they came down, and we knew that the best way to retree is to really do a variety. So we do multicultural planting, and so you'll see many, many species out there that our volunteers are planting each season.
Paul, I'm glad that you mentioned the word volunteer, because I want to talk about how you guys have or continue to lay out this effort year in and year out. You heavily depend on volunteers, so if you're watching this at home and you want to get involved, believe me, Paul needs you, I assure you. But then what about the funding? I mean, you guys continue to get funding. I know you strive for it. It doesn't just show up every year, right?
No.
You guys have to work for it.
Yeah.
But talk about the funding and the effort.
Well, the funding has been almost $2 million over this time. The big thing was actually Buffalo News that jumped in early, and they said, the publisher at the time, Stan Lipsey, said to us, well, we'll give you your first $50,000, and then we'll do a big campaign in the paper to put all the names of the people that donated. It ended up being, I don't know if people out there know the term, but it's called a double truck.
Double truck, absolutely.
Double truck, you got it.
My first 15 years in print, absolutely. Double truck.
So it was the full double truck at the middle of the newspaper, and that helped us a lot. And then we've had a lot of regular donors that have helped us. We've had the companies all over the place. Even those that weren't hit by the storm were helping, like Moog and Fisher-Price down in East Aurora. They didn't really see the damage that we had. But they said, it's a part of our area. We better do something, and we will. So they did.
And while we're talking about progress, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe ReTree's goal was 300,000 trees, right?
Not
30,000?
30,000.
Okay, I added a zero. I was nervous I was going to add a zero.
I'd love to say we did that.
Future goal, right? So 30,000 trees,
Right.
and you've exceeded that goal.
Oh, yeah, we're almost 31,000. I think just slightly over 31,000, but that translates to 62,000 because every time we plant a tree, we want the municipality to match us.
Nice.
So that's where that big figure comes from. And actually, we lost 57,000 trees just in that couple of day period back in '06.
What is the future like for ReTree, for this effort? I mean, did you ever envision that one day would be the finish day? Look, we've achieved our goal. I mean, the idea is to keep this going, right?
Right. Well, obviously, they're living things. So, and there are a lot of forces that are against us now.
Weather, for sure.
Weather, the change in climate, all the things that, I mean, even just, things that happen, like a plow might plow into a tree. We do a lot of street trees, so they get salt on them. They actually are in a heat island in many ways, and this summer was a tough one for us. So we need watering. We need a lot of things to keep this whole program going. But we're going to continue, and we've got a lot of initiatives, too, that we're doing. In fact, I was at one today.
Nice.
It was so cool. There's a section of downtown. It's in JFK Park off of Clinton Street downtown where we have a food forest that we're putting in, and it's gorgeous. Somebody should visit that. And it's just manned by people that want the food, the apples and the pears and the peaches and all those things to grow for the inner city. Yeah. So we're supporting that, and we believe heavily in it. And if anybody wants to get involved in that, it's on buffalofreedomgardens.com.
Wonderful.
Nice.
While we're talking about that very quickly, because we're out of time, Paul, when is your next planting? If anyone out there, anyone wants to volunteer, get their hands in the dirt.
Okay. Yeah, so Jordan, first, October 25th, the Saturday, 9 in the morning, we're going to be training our process, which is the bare root tree planting process. We're going to do that at Forest Lawn Cemetery. And then the week later, November 1st, will be our planting, and we're going to be all over the city. We're doing mostly city plantings now.
Great.
So they can help with either of those, or both.
Excellent. Paul, we say it each and every year around this time, whenever this anniversary comes up. Thank you so much for your efforts. I don't know what you thought. We talked a little bit about it 19 years ago, but here we are, and you guys have still stayed on it, and this community owes you a huge debt of gratitude.
Well, it's the volunteers. I'm a volunteer like everybody else, but the volunteers are just tremendous.
Agreed.
And thank you for that.
Thanks, community.
Yeah, over 30,000 trees, getting closer and closer to 300,000.
One day.
Yeah, we're getting there.
One day. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Jordan.